The pressure is growing bigger on Bugatti because they are yet to cooperate and help Mark McCann fix his broken gearbox on his Bugatti Veyron despite reaching out to them on multiple occasions. Mate Rimac won't sell him new gearbox, same thing with Alex Bugatti Chiron. Bugatti won't even sell simple parts or cooperate with independent rebuilders, neither will Bugatti offer him ideas or even need parts to start with. Mark McCann is now in big trouble because people keep calling this just a gearbox, but after this video, it's obvious the Bugatti Veyron transmission is basically a hydraulic supercomputer disguised as a gearbox. This thing wasn't ahead of its time by a few years. It was ahead by an entire generation. Back in the early 2000s, most supercars still had manual transmissions. Meanwhile, Bugatti had already built a hydraulic dual-clutch system capable of handling over 1,000 horsepower. The craziest part is the gearbox wasn't even designed like a normal gearbox. One of the original Ricardo engineers literally admitted it should be viewed as a hydraulic system first and a gearbox second. That's what makes this story so insane. The gearbox can physically be repaired, but they still can't safely run it. Pascal has basically been forced to reverse engineer a £1 million transmission from scratch with almost no official information. No OEM specs, no dimensions, no material data, no tolerances, no support. This rebuild also exposes something manufacturers hate talking about. Modern hypercars are becoming almost impossible to independently repair. Even after spending $900,000, ownership still doesn't equal control. Because the moment you lose factory support, everything becomes nearly impossible. And that's where the story becomes bigger than just Matt or Mark or one Bugatti. This turns into a debate about the future of ownership itself. Do you actually own these cars anymore? Or are manufacturers slowly turning owners into permanent customers? The most frustrating part is the perfect solution already exists. Ricardo literally has the exact test rig needed sitting just 15 minutes away, but because of contractual restrictions, they can't use it. That irony is brutal. The answer to the entire project exists. They just aren't allowed near it. And this is where the rebuild becomes emotionally exhausting. Every solution creates another problem. Fix the gearbox, now the clutch sheds fibers. Clean the gearbox, now the oil tank is contaminated. Replace the clutch, now it needs a bedding-in procedure. Build a test rig, that costs £500,000. The deeper they go, the worse it gets. But here is the thing nobody is talking about. How did it get this bad in the first place? Because there is a theory circulating among the engineers on this project that stops you cold the moment you hear it. A theory that suggests this entire 4-year nightmare, this 900,000 catastrophe, may have started with one single servicing mistake, one moment, one careless action, and a rounded sump plug. That's it. That may be the origin of everything. Think about what that means. If the sump plug was rounded off during routine maintenance, metal shavings would have entered the gearbox oil. Not massive chunks, not visible debris, microscopic fragments, particles smaller than a human hair. And that is what makes this so terrifying. You cannot see what is killing the system. You cannot feel it. You cannot hear it. It is invisible destruction working in slow motion through every hydraulic channel in the gearbox. And this is where the industrial machinery comparison becomes impossible to ignore. Pascal compared this gearbox to a JCB hydraulic system, a piece of heavy construction equipment. Not because it is slow or crude, but because of how fanatically sensitive it is to contamination. In industrial hydraulics, a single particle of debris can seize a valve. One microscopic fragment in the wrong channel and the entire system loses pressure. It stops functioning. And in those industrial environments, that contamination protocol is treated with the same seriousness as surgery. Clean rooms, filtered fluids, sealed components at every stage. The Bugatti Veyron gearbox demands the same standard, except nobody told the owners that. Nobody put that in the service manual. Nobody called the independent shops and said, by the way, this is not a gearbox. This is precision hydraulic industrial machinery, and any contamination will cost you everything. So if you are watching this and you own a Veyron, or you are thinking about having one serviced anywhere outside an authorized Bugatti dealer, watch until the end of this video. Because what comes next changes everything about how you think about this car. If you have not subscribed yet, do it now. Because this story is only getting deeper. Here is the 60-second destruction problem. And this one genuinely shocked the engineers. When the clutch was being rebuilt, they discovered it was shedding carbon fibers, tiny fragments of material from the clutch pack released during the bedding-in process. Normal clutches go through a break-in period. You expect some wear, you expect some heat. But on the Veyron, those fibers do not just disappear, they circulate through the hydraulic fluid. They pass through channels with tolerances measured in microns. And within 60 seconds of running, 60 seconds, those particles can reach critical components and begin causing irreversible damage. 60 seconds. That is the window between a running gearbox and a destroyed one. And this is where the irony becomes almost unbearable. They successfully rebuilt the gearbox. Pascal and the team did what almost no independent engineer in the world has ever done. They physically reassembled a transmission that Bugatti itself says cannot be repaired outside their factory. They overcame the engineering, they beat the mechanical challenge, but they still cannot safely start the car. Because the moment the engine fires, the clutch begins its bedding-in cycle, fibers enter the hydraulic system, and without a filtration solution that can capture particles at that scale in real time, the gearbox they just rebuilt gets contaminated all over again, in under a minute. How is this even possible? How can a team spend months rebuilding something perfectly and then be physically unable to run it? Because Bugatti never designed this car to be serviced independently. Full stop. And that brings us back to Meta Rimac. Back to the silence. Back to the wall. Mark is not asking for charity. He is not asking Bugatti to do the work for him. He has stated publicly and clearly, I will pay, whatever it costs. Parts, labor, consultation, technical data. He will pay for it. And Bugatti still refuses to engage. So ask yourself the obvious question. What exactly are Bugatti protecting? It is not revenue. Mark is offering them money. It is not liability. He is an adult owner accepting full responsibility. It is not complexity. Ricardo engineers already understand the system at the deepest level. So what is it? The uncomfortable answer is that Bugatti may be protecting something far more valuable than parts revenue. They may be protecting information. Because every time an independent rebuilder successfully documents one of these systems, the mythology around it starts to collapse. The idea that only Bugatti can touch a Bugatti starts to erode. And the business model, where every service, every repair, every diagnostic depends entirely on factory access, that model gets threatened. If Pascal can reverse engineer the gearbox hydraulics, what else can be reverse engineered? If Mark can document the full system behavior, what does that cost Bugatti in future service contracts? That is what is really being withheld. And then the real problem appeared. Because while the engineering battle was happening in the workshop, a completely different kind of attack was happening online. The Andrew scam. When you follow a project like this publicly, desperation becomes visible. The community can see when the team is stuck, and professional scammers watch for exactly that moment. Someone presenting themselves as a specialist with access to rare parts, with credentials that looked legitimate, with communication that felt professional.